Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We're excited to be here with you. Hi,
Yes,
Sue. Good to see you. Welcome,
let's.
everybody. We are streaming on both Charlotta and my channel. So if you are on one or the other, you can go and check us out on the other page. We've both tagged each other below. We are here for our Tricky Thursday live chat, and today's subject is gift ideas, both to give and to receive, because we deserve good gifts as well. So,
Actually,
gift ideas to tell your friends and family. And of course, we want to hear from you. I've got Sue and Sandra and W Designs. Hello in my chat. And before we get started, we always want to check, how does our sound on my channel? Charlotta, do you want to say a few words?
yes, and how do I sound on Trisha's channel, and how does Trisha and I sound on my channel? And I can't see anybody in my chat yet, so I'm not sure it's working or not. We'll find out in a minute. It
Okay.
looks fine.
Yes.
It's always a little bit exciting whenever we do something like
Yeah.
that.
There's always a little bit of technology figuring
Yes.
out.
Is it working? Is it not?
Yeah. Are we on test? And we can't
Yeah.
test before we go live, so that's why it's always like, hey guys, how does it sound?
Trisha and I, as you might know by now, we do like to live a little bit dangerously. We like a deadline, and we like a slightly stressy YouTube.
Sue says we sound good. There may be a
Fantastic.
little low for I turned it up a little bit to see if your sound will be a little bit. It said it was a little better on me,
Yes,
which
we
might,
just have to wait and see.
yeah.
And sometimes I think it records differently as well, so apologies if it's uneven.
So, Charlotta, do you want to introduce yourself for new people?
Yes, hello, I'm Charlotta. Like Trisha, I love pattern cutting. I come from a fashion design background, and I've been teaching pattern cutting for 15 years now, nearly. And I just love the skills it gives it to you, and seeing people, from complete beginner to making something, understanding that's how it works, that's how clothes works, and making something beautiful. And Trisha and I met through our love for pattern cutting, and we love our monthly lives on here where we sort of talk about pattern cutting related things. So this is not a tutorial, this is not a to-do list, this isn't a formal chat. So we do have both like more in-depth tutorials and stuff. Trisha has the Tricky Thursdays. I have lots of fashion and pattern cutting tutorials, but this is more a place to hang out with all of you and share things and have a chat with each other.
Yes.
And how about Trisha? Do you want to introduce yourself as well?
And yeah, everything that Charlotta said. And yeah, we both love pattern cutting, and we both want to make it accessible and easy for people to learn. So we both offer services and have our YouTube channels and other Instagrams and things to share those types of things. And we just love sharing about it. And it's great because while Charlotta comes from a fashion background, I come from an entertainment background, making costumes for live entertainment. So it's always great. And plus, being in the US versus Charlotta being in London, or UK, I should say, hearing about the differences in pattern cutting and sewing, and that way we can best serve all of you students. And yeah, like we said, we both have tutorials and classes that we offer and classes that we teach, but this is our monthly chat where we just get to kind of nerd out on what we love and chat with all of you. So we do encourage you to chat with us and give us your feedback. This is when we get to hang out and just kind of talk about different things that help us all, improve our skills and make beautiful clothes that make us feel wonderful. So.
And it is always really interesting to hear like the different perspectives. That's what I love. You always find out something new and learn something.
And I have to say, that's one of my favorite things. I've been teaching a lot in person, as we were just chatting about before we jumped on, at some various conferences, and and very different groups of people that I've seen recently, which has been wonderful. And the great thing about it in teaching in person and just sewing with others, like when I've used to tour with shows and work with different seamstresses around the world, around the country, is I always learned something. I actually learned something in my last class that I taught, where I was teaching sewing professionals for the ASDP Sewing Professionals group. And it's just a wonderful thing about this craft, about sewing and crafting, pattern making in general, is that there's always more to learn. There's always different ways of doing things. So I think that both Charlotta and I are really open to learning
Yes.
from each other and learning from others. And we just that's why we call ourselves pattern nerds, because we're like, ooh, how do you do it? It's more about that and sharing what we've
Yeah.
found, yeah, with you
And actually,
guys.
that's I think that what I always liked about you, that you have enough experience, but you know there's always something new to learn.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes it exciting. That there's always something new to find out, something I didn't know. And I'm the same. I've been teaching lots in real life, which is always a little bit different than teaching online. But there was like a way of constructing a zipper I hadn't seen before, which was great. And also today, somebody mentioned electric bias making tape
Electric.
machines. Have you heard about that before?
I is it the one that you like? I know. I think that's a
Not the one
hand
on the
crank.
ironing board. No, it's like a little machine. And
I
it's
think,
basically the same, but
yeah,
you switch it on and it
it
basically
does it
pulls
for
it
you.
through. So I thought, ooh, something new. It sounds
Yeah,
exciting.
I know. It's
Might be a present
exciting.
or a gift.
Very cool. So, welcome. I see some more people showing up in my chat. Kathy accidentally on Steve's account, and and we've got Katie from Texas. Welcome, everybody. Are you seeing chat on your
I've got a
side?
few, yes.
Okay, good, good.
I know quite a few of my students that were busy today, so I'm sad to miss them. Hopefully, we like the recording. I
Yes,
might
yes.
open to your chat as well. So shall we talk about? I think you want to start by saying gifts you might want to make.
Yeah, maybe you
That was
want to make,
it.
because I think a lot of us as makers, I know that in my membership community, they've already started on their Christmas gifts. So I'm like, you guys are way ahead of where I am. I'm like, I can't even, we got to get through Halloween before I can focus on Christmas. That's just my rule. But yeah, I think we have this skill. It's a great way to, if you can make something, it's a great way to save some money possibly, but also it's more personal when you can make
I
it.
think it's to show some love, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
you
I think
put the time on somebody.
it's like if I made you something, that means I took time to actually, I didn't just go and buy it. I thought about it, thought about the fabric I want to use, thought about the item and how you might, because I don't know about you, but I get stressed out with gift giving because I don't want to give gifts that people won't use or won't like. So I'm always, it stresses me out because I'm like, well, but what would they want,
Yes.
So being
It's
able to
lovely
make
when you
things.
get it right. It's really
Right,
wonderful. But it's sort
right.
of like that's why it's so important, isn't it? Especially with people you really care about. You want to make sure that their faces light up. And because if the better you know, the more you can tell.
Right.
Then we are putting a brave face on as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I have a couple in mind. Should I start? What do you think?
Yes, please.
So I actually just taught a class at ASDP using circles, so using circle drafting. And this was actually a freebie that I gave away to my newsletter a couple years ago, maybe 2021.
I know
Maybe I
which
need
one
to
it
do it
is.
again. Let me know. But talking about how, to use circles in drafting, but it's just, you can use fleece or wool or anything that you find around, but it's a circle vest. It's just a big circle with some armholes cut in, and then how you edge it, and you could even put like a little snap or a button, and it's really easy and really fast to make. It's just a big circle, and you figure out where the armholes are. I even put like pockets in mine, but it's a really quick. I made the year that I kind of was talking about circles, I made up this tutorial, and then I made my sisters both one of these, and my boyfriend's mother at the time. But it's just a big circle with armholes, and then the way that I finish it off is with some elastic binding,
Oh, lovely.
so that you can draw it in at the hood area, and then it kind of hugs around. But it's really fast, it's really easy, especially if you get that elastic binding. You could do regular binding as well and use your electric binding maker, but I did this and I thought it was really fun. So it's just kind of
It's really nice. I actually had a version like that made out of knit, but rather than being a circle, it was a rectangle.
Yes.
And where the armholes there, I think as it was knit fabric, it had slits, and then it literally just had tubes going out for the sleeves. But because it was a knit, it was a really thick knit fabric, it made the most beautiful coat, exactly like yours. But because it's square, it becomes a shawl collar.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can, oh, actually, I had two lots of sleeves, one set of sleeves, and then I had another lot you could use to tie it.
Oh,
Bought it in Amsterdam years ago. Um, but that idea is really nice for using blankets because it's like, when
yes.
you come in charity shop, thrift shop, if you find a blanket, you can sort of upcycle it. And
Yeah.
this, you can see with Trisha how the circle becomes a hood or
Mm-hmm.
like that. And if you do it square, it becomes more like a 1950s collar.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like
it
a
has
big
like really,
white
if you add
collar.
the sleeves in, it gives you like a natural dropped shoulder. It's really elegant. Balenciaga did something similar. So they are really nice to make. Actually, if you love vintage, also if you have the Metropolitan Museum has a whole section of Balenciaga stoles, scarves, with some opera stoles.
Yes. Oh,
Have
I
a look
love
around there.
scarves. They're like one of my
Yes, yeah,
favorite winter accessories. And Sue,
yes.
yes, it is in your membership. And it's under the PDF download. You have the full tutorial as well. And then I had a little video that I created that I don't think is in our membership, but I can make it so. We can add it in. And speaking of upcycling, this is another thing. I did these last year for people. So these I went to the op shop or thrift store and I got some sweaters for the print. And they are just little leg warmers or boot warmers that you can put over your boots. And then it gives it a really cute, different look, to your boots. Plus, it helps keep you warm. I lined it with, this was actually, I couldn't find this fleecy fabric. So I went to Walmart and got like one of those, throws and used it for the linings. And I did a little bit of interfacing. And I believe I have a tutorial for this in our membership as well, too. It was also a freebie for my newsletter. Honestly, somebody had gifted me a pair of these. So it's a set. For Christmas one year, and I was like, it's literally a rectangle, right? I was like, these are really simple, they're really easy. And on the ones that I gave away, I kept these ones. One of the ones I gave away, I got some like big chunky buttons to go on the outside, and you could like add lacy trim if you want. And they're really quick and really easy and very cute. And you can use like upcycled materials for that. So I think I did that for last year's around Christmas time giveaway. And then when I did the circle vest for everybody, I made little fingerless gloves out of fleece and then edged it with the
Awesome.
matching fabric from the circle. So you can make little fingerless gloves by just like tracing your hand, if you're using like a fleece or a material that has some stretch. And those are really quick and easy too.
Yes, and it's also like really nice, like bags are always really nice to make because I
Yeah,
think it's the way
no
you can put
sizing.
presents inside as well instead of wrapping.
Mm-hmm.
I have a tutorial for a V-net scarf, which is on
Yes.
my pattern cutting school, which is all cut on bias, and it's a really fun way of doing bias. And I've
And,
also got a tutorial for a 1940s.
and thank you.
It's basically a lunchbox bag, but it all comes out of one piece, and you can use. It's quite Japanese. I will actually make both of them public for the holiday period on YouTube, but
Nice.
they're also on my pattern cutting school as well. If you're on that,
Yeah,
I will put.
bags are great because who doesn't need accessories? And what I love about bags and accessories is you don't have to worry about sizing.
Yes, and you can sort of really play around with the fabrics we like, with colors we
Hmm.
like, but it doesn't have to be a fashion fabric as well. So you
Right.
can use offcuts and stuff. And this one is like a sort of perfect for your bento box or to put a present inside. So it's really nice, and it's, from what I remember, really quick to make, but looks nicely finished as well.
Hmm.
Because I think you always have to think, don't stress yourself out too much. It's like already really stressy period. So find things which people will like. It's fun to make, but isn't suddenly when you're sitting there on the 24th of December,
Right.
panicking, having to finish 10 of them.
Well, and another thing that I did for some of my family, which took a little bit more planning and forethought, was I had made myself, to test it out, a hoodie using the Luderlo system. And I was like, what am I going to get for my brother-in-laws? Because they don't want scarves and they don't want bags, you know?
I promise.
So I drafted them and I made all of them hoodies using the Luterlo system. Now they're like 6'3" and much bigger than I am. So it was great having the Luterlo system that you could just scale up to the larger size. I will say though, as much as I think that it's fun to use the Luterlo system, I did, while I was making these hoodies, have to go back and scale down the hoods because it scaled everything up while the body and everything
Yeah.
was good, but the hood was like huge.
I'm less of a fan of it. I get why people love it. It's just
Yeah.
not for me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You just have to be careful with it.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think you have to be very quite experienced already to make it work.
Yeah.
'Cause you have to sort of
You
know your
can be.
body and stuff
And
like
I mean, and remember we used Mrs. Depew's scale up, which is a similar system.
Yeah.
And she was actually a teacher at PatternCon, and gotten to know her really well. So I just want to give her a plug as well. Because those, I mean, you have to really check everything, walk your seams, you know, check your corners and things like that. But it could be a fast way to draft something that's simple. And if you're wanting to go that route, and you would have access to multiple sizes in one
Yes,
pattern.
that's a great thing
Yeah.
about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you sort of, I was thinking another thing, if you don't have enough time to make something for somebody, is to also, if you have somebody who likes sewing, maybe even more knitters or sewers, think about what they're like making, and you could make them a kit of stuff as well.
Yeah.
Because you yourself a maker, you know what they want. Because sometimes with people who don't make things give you things, they don't quite get it right, because we're quite
Yeah.
specific, isn't it? We know whether something is good, or you know, maybe sometimes I don't know, do you have Aldi in the US?
Yes,
And
we do have Aldi.
Yes. And there's that famous middle aisle, isn't it?
Yeah.
And some stuff is really good for sewing in there, but some you think, yeah, we leave that there.
Yeah.
So but
Yeah.
if you, that's
I
really
do
nice.
that for my nephew. My nephew, he's 11 now, and he's been really interested in crochet. So I'll get him for like his birthday and stuff. I'll get him like tension rings, because that's always like the hardest thing to learn about doing tension, and like a ball of yarn or something cool that I see, you know, because I
And
want to
again, it
encourage
could
that.
come from a thrift shop or a charity shop, but you can pick the quality, you know, is nice. Or if you're not quite sure, there's also nowadays like really nice kits and stuff. I've been talking about it before we went live. There's sort of really little the fabric shop where I teach my lessons, Crafty Baba, they have online as well, but she sells like sort of Japanese bag kits and Japanese embroidery kits,
like project
some of
kits
them are really,
to get people
yeah,
started.
I think they're really affordable, so they're really nice stocking fillers. And there's also kits, have you heard Studio, I think she's called 77, I think she might be more UK based, but she sells like bag making kit. So again, you actually get all the notions, which are really hard to get from shops.
I know there's some leather bag making kits here, and I am blanking on her name because I haven't been able to do that. And I know that Designs by Jamie or Creations by Jamie, she sells shoes, and she's like big on Instagram.
Yes, that's very shoes.
She also has like some shoemaking kits, because I bought one, found it the other day, and I'm like, I need to make these shoes. Like I need to get on it. So yeah, that can be a fun project for people who are just getting, or a gift for people who are just getting into things or creating your own.
Or if it's something like shoes, for example, it's something you could buy for both of you, and you could make it together, because then it's always quite nice to spend some time together, and you know.
That's a great idea. I love that. I love that.
So I think it's always about, I think a lot of times some presents are nice, like spending time together. I think time nowadays is the most precious thing.
I always appreciate that more than actual stuff.
Yes. Well, I think we have so much, isn't it? So it's very hard.
And like you said, time is like our most precious commodity. It's like if you can spend, I always like that. Travel's my number one. Like if you want to buy me a weekend somewhere, hell yeah, I'll be all about it. That's my favorite gift, or an experience.
Yes, that's what I was thinking, because what is always really nice, like you can give people experiences by themselves, but what's really nice if you have friends, you know, that's better than nothing. Maybe either going to an exhibition together and making a day out of it. You could do fabric shopping at the same time. And I've looked I like next year you get there's Victor and Rolf, there's Schiaparelli, there's lots of
Hmm.
really nice collections coming up. Or even, doing at the moment, my last sewing class was a mother and daughter, and I think they sort of take each other to sewing classes and do
Yes,
something
yes.
together, which is really nice. Or of course they could go to PatternCon
They can come to
next
Pattern
August
Con. I saw
together.
Jules put that that's what she's getting for her holiday
Are
gift.
you? Fantastic.
Yeah, so yeah, things and live events like that I think are really great. And we did this year at PatternCon have, a lot of mother daughters and a lot of grandma and the grandkid, and it's
Cousins.
it's such a beautiful way to connect with your friends and loved ones and still advance your skills and learn with things. So yeah, and speaking of PatternCon, you can find out more about PatternCon at pattern.com. And we are, it was the inaugural year this year, but we are going to start selling tickets for next year, 2026, in Atlanta for August 1st and 2nd. We just announced those dates. We will have volunteer tickets go on sale for Black Friday, which is November 28th, the Friday after American Thanksgiving. And then our general admission tickets will go on a week later, December 5th. So if you are wanting to come to PatternCon next year, that's definitely a great gift to ask for. And there will be more information coming out about that. So yeah, that would be a great thing, to tell your loved ones, like, hey, this is what I want. Like you said, travel and experience is always a
Yes.
good
Or if
thing.
you're like a sister or a really good friend, that's what you sort of could give each other, such. And then it makes it extra special, isn't it?
Right.
Or treat yourself. But it's like in the UK, we have the sort of knit and stitch show, for example, which is more
Hmm.
general. But I know like cousins going together, and that's always really
Yeah.
nice. Like
Yeah,
spend
I
some
like to
time
do stuff with
together.
my cousins.
Mm.
Um, is it Kathy? I keep wanting to say Steve, which I know you're not Steve. Said I gifted our goddaughter an old train makeup case full of everything she needs for sewing: fabric scissors and a child singer, sew handy, chain stitch, sewing machine. Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. I would like that
Yes.
too.
And I think that's also great because you probably put in really nice stuff. So because if you were
Yeah,
buying finished kits, like some
it's
kits are
kind
set
of
at night,
set.
but if it's like especially beginner sewing kits, I think we've done the same for like my daughter's 13, like for her friends,
Yes.
like choose lots of nice fabrics
Mm-hmm.
and just know like a nice pair of scissors rather than if
Yeah.
you buy a beginner's kit, that's
Yeah,
going to
it's
let
not
it down. I
great.
mean, it's actually going to make it harder if you're a
Right.
beginner. Or the colors are all going to be wrong. So it makes it really personal because you know the person,
Right.
and you can sort of hunt the things out as well, so it's you do save money, but it's more personal as such as well,
Yes,
and more
absolutely. And
special.
that old train makeup case sounds really cool. I'm a big fan of like vintage cool bags. I used to carry around, I found at a thrift store. Maybe somebody gave it to me. Like a big doctor's kit. It was a big
Oh
leather. It
yeah,
was like
that's
almost
it.
a
Yeah,
box like this, and I used it as my purse. It was my favorite.
yeah, and they're great because they open up, aren't they?
Yeah, it just like, yeah. I love all
Yeah,
stuff like that. That's very cool.
yeah.
Yeah, and get creative like that too. If it fits with the person that you're gifting style, I'm a big fan of thrifting or repurposing things for different uses, if it fits with their style. And I think that's a really fun way to, it's still personal, even though it's because you're kind of like finding it, and it's a good way to kind of save money and have something unique,
Yeah, and you can sort of really tailor it, like if you make the things for them, like the right fabrics,
Hmm.
the right wool, like for your nephew, you won't get,
Right.
you get like a nice cotton or whatever. So all these sort of things are really nice. I was just thinking as well, if you have any children in your life, what was an amazing success. I've been making little mice. I will, if people are interested, let me know. I will make a little tutorial. But they're literally just made out of basically quarter circles of fabric, and you use any wool felt, and you can make them in the evening on the television, and they're small, they look quite sort of funny, but they absolutely love them. I'm always surprised because you think it's quite an old-fashioned toy, and they have a little bit of charms. You can even make them as Christmas
Like
tree or
stocking
ornaments
stuff.
if you like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing you just reminded me, my best friend, she makes pin cushions. And that's
Oh, that's
something that
lovely.
a friend of mine, she used to do one every year for Halloween. Pin cushions are really easy to make, and you can make them in all different shapes. There's a lot of patterns that are out there. But what my best friend does is she goes to like thrift stores and op shops, and she'll get like interesting things to be used as bases, and then she'll like she makes shoes for like Cirque du Soleil. So she likes to get like shoe figurines.
Yeah.
And then like where the hole would be, like that's where the pin cushion goes, and she like
Yeah.
makes that a pin cushion. That's always really good.
Because people like it with cake with cups as well.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's another fun present
Yeah.
for like sewing people too. That's
Yes, when you could even say it's like a voucher for going out for afternoon tea or something.
yes,
Yeah, that is nice.
yes, I love that.
Do stuff like that. Yeah,
And
that's
Sue
really nice.
says, I used to make cigar purses. So I'm assuming you mean cigar case purses. That's cool. Like the cigar box, I mean,
And then
into a
sorry, what
purse.
does it mean actually? It sounds really cool,
A
but
cigar box, they're usually like a
I know
cool,
a cigar boxes.
and then making
but
it into a purse or
okay, yes, I mean that
like a
sounds really
handbag.
interesting. Yeah, because now we're like wooden boxes, I assume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So would you then put on little handles and stuff, or you need to
Yeah,
find out more
that's
soon.
what I'm envisioning. Maybe Sue.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what Sue said. Yes.
Yeah, that'd be
I'm like,
really
that's
cool.
my.
Like, yeah, like a perfect evening
I'll
bag.
tell you, this is not good for now, and it was like way back in the day. I'm probably dating myself, but when I was in middle school, we made we made backpacks out of cereal boxes. So we
That's
could have like
great.
Lucky Charm. We just punched holes and put like like strings or shoestrings around them, and so then we had like I mean, they're cardboard, so they didn't last very
Yeah.
long, but it was a really fun way. That was like when raves were a big thing.
Yes, I was gonna say all you have to do nowadays, you know, the laminate,
Yes.
key laminating thing, covered in it, and it's like Balenciaga or Moschino.
Right?
Put some, you know, like some nice webbing on it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like all the
yeah.
teenagers would love it because they're going really back to 90s. Yeah, so it's still going on. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
any basic craft ideas from the 90s.
Right? I mean, we just thought it was, fun and quirky. Like all that kind of like cartoony kind of stuff was really popular
Yeah.
back then.
No.
But yeah, it's a
And
lot of
actually,
fun.
that's always good because sometimes we think, oh, we've done that before, you know, it's really boring, but revisit it. And for lots of other people, you know, they probably have, you know, things go, you know, they disappear and it's then really new.
And Lee is saying we would love to learn how to make the mice.
Oh, thank you. I've had somebody saying as well. I will put it
Yeah,
together.
so we
There's
gotta,
whole families. We got Queen Victoria.
oh my
and
God, I love it. I know, that's such a fun idea. And I'm bummed I put that book or away. Amy, I want to say Beckman is her last name. It starts with a B. She just came out with a new book. I mean, it's gorgeous, and it's like talking about little handmade dolls and things that we've passed, like you remember the monkey
Yes.
sock monkey dolls
Oh,
that you
yeah.
could make and things like that. And I believe her book would be a great gift. And it just talks about how families kind of brought together through crafting and sewing and things like that. And I believe there's a QR code in her book where you can go and get patterns for making some of these like quick dolls, which would also be a wonderful gift
Yes,
for
and
kids.
what's nice thing is, you know, they're really small. So, you know, if you haven't got much time, you can probably do one in
Right.
an evening. And you can
Right.
switch it on by hand. So it's really, it's quite therapeutic for yourself as well. I
Yeah.
quite like to just keep yourself busy when you're watching telly or whatever.
Yes, Cynthia, or that's Cindy. Hi, Cindy. Barrickman, Amy Barrickman. Thank you, Cindy. Yeah. I literally took it because my table was covered and I had to teach a class yesterday. And so I took it and I put it in my living room so that I could read it, when other people were around. So yeah,
There's
it's just a
also,
beautiful
if you
little book.
like, again, if you have people who might be not yet pattern makers, we can still seduce them to become pattern makers. But if they like crafts, like things like making dolls is a really good introduction because it is sort of 3D. And they're like, yeah, as you said, there's a new book more about the history. But that's the sort of thing you always find in charity shops. And just if you have experience yourself, you can sort of tell which books might be easier and which are harder. Because I've bought some, I just think, yeah, that's actually making it really difficult when others.
This is like a really quick read. It's like a small little cute book, and just really more about the more about the kind of the essence and the connection behind it. It's really a beautiful book about friendship and family and stuff through sewing and crafting with dolls. It's really
I think
wonderful.
those,
And I think especially now, since fabric, at least in the US, is so much harder to get a hold of, like if you have sewing friends, passing along fabric or getting them, gift cards or something like that for where they
but
can get
yes,
fabric.
has it really hit you? The whole thing with what was it called? The fabric shop, Jones,
Joann's
going down.
Joann's closing. And now Michael's is, trying to pick it
Oh,
up, but I've heard from people on the internet mostly that a lot of the stores aren't stocked yet. And
oh,
that was it. I mean, I didn't really shop there all that much, but like for notions and things. But like that circle vest tutorial that I did, I said to bring fleece because usually this time of year going into New Year's, it was everywhere at Joann's. Like it was super easy to get fleece, and they were like, I didn't know where to get fleece. I mean, Walmart has some fabric and stuff too, but yeah, I think it's been hard for some people. I know where I live now is kind of the furniture capital of the world, so we have a lot of upholstery shops and quilt shops, but we don't have a lot of apparel fabric
yeah.
nearby.
I think we had, when I first moved over 20 years ago in the UK, like every little town had a fabric shop, and quite often they run, but they're all independent. So they had like 40 years of stock. It
Yeah.
used to be like treasure. And you can imagine these sort of Tudor houses in the UK, and there's
Yes.
like several stories and
So
rooms, you just
cool.
going, oh, that fabric is from the 70s. And they all disappeared. So we're really lucky. We
Wow.
actually have two fabric shops in my town,
Oh
which is
wow. That's
really
really nice.
unusual. But I think there's a lot of towns where you literally haven't got
Well, and I know people
fabric
like
shops.
like speaking of vintage fabric, like Stephanie Canada Backroom Finds has
Yes.
vintage fabric that she sells as well, which are she found in like a warehouse of somebody
Yeah.
who used to have all of that. W Design says my kids have always been into thrifting, and we always find the best gifts at thrift stores, and none of us mind. I mean, I think it's a great. I have too.
I think you have to know the people, isn't it? Some people,
Yes, yeah, that's a bit more of a right. Like and that's my thing is so I have some people on my shopping list where I'm like they can get whatever they want from wherever they want, and that's why I go into the making because I know they can't get something that I've made, and it's more personal, so that's where a lot of times I'll turn to me made stuff is where it's like this person can go and get whatever they want, but they can't go and get something that I've personally made for them, so that makes it a little bit more special.
no, I totally agree. And it is sort of even what I quite like is the whole sort of where you upcycle. So, um, again, personal, but my children all love Harry Potter. And Harry Potter, they always has the Weasley jumpers,
Yeah.
like at Christmas with their initials on it. So
Yes.
that's again something if your children like a certain character or something, you can I buy the jumpers just from charity shops or
Right.
vintage, and then you crochet it
You
on.
add something,
And it's
yeah.
sort of using, I think it's like certain things you pattern cut, like I like doing the scarves and the bags, but other, so think about where you can use your pattern cutting skills, how to crochet letters,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then put it on. But sort of again, like upcycling, remaking things, but making it really special. And, if there's somebody who loves, oh, what's really big here at the moment, the K-pop Demon Hunters, you can
Right.
do stuff
Right.
related to that and things
Mm-hmm.
and have some fun with it, but it makes me special and I still really love it. I think it's always
Yeah.
surprising, especially like I think young teens and stuff, they're quite hard to buy for because
Yes.
it
Right.
changes and stuff, but if you
Right.
make them something nobody else gets, it's still quite
Exactly.
special, I
Makes it
think.
more special. So, and you also have something coming out on Black Friday, don't you? For
I
your
do actually, because it's also my first anniversary for whole full design and draft, which is everything I ever made. So, which is very exciting. So I'm actually going to do it just before. So I've got a wait list at the moment, but then I'm also hopefully doing some sort of public Black Friday sale, which is always nice. I think that's sort of more for treating yourself, or a very special offer, like who might want to treat you.
Yes.
Also, I think actually, are you buying
Well, I
something
mean,
special for
it's great
yourself?
if I don't know about you, but I always have like my mom and my dad and friends will be like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Ugh, I don't know." Like I'm like, I don't want I don't know what I need. I don't know what I want. And like getting a membership to, to your course or to your membership, that would be a great, like if somebody was looking to advance in their pattern skills. Like when I was learning the fiddle, I asked for fiddle lessons one year for my
Yeah.
birthday. So you can equate that to advancing your skills or coming to pattern con, going to certain
Yes.
events, things
Yeah.
like that
And
are
again, it's something where you sort of give something for the whole year or forever. Isn't
right,
something you can, it's
right. It's
pattern
more
can
than
you can
just
look
one
forward
thing.
to. If it's a membership like mine, obviously, then you get something all year round, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And
Actually, the
then
best.
other fun things. We want to talk about other things that we would want, or maybe that some of our listeners tell us what other things might be on your list, and maybe we can give each other ideas. But we've got a couple of ideas as well. Did you have a couple? Did you want to start
Yes.
or?
So I want to be really practical, which is really boring. I want a new steam station. So I might have to drop some hints for that. But I think it's sometimes it's a bit boring, but I think if somebody actually asks you,
Yeah.
be quite honest. Yeah. So I always have lots of books on my list, and especially as you know me, I like some books are quite expensive. I think you got a quite expensive book on your list.
Yeah. I was
Um,
actually just sharing about one in my class that I taught yesterday on drafting knit pants. This is the book that I was using, Pattern Making for Stretch Knit Fabrics, by, what's her name? Julie Cole. And somebody looked it up. It was $100 on Amazon, but it's quite a detailed book. And that's the thing with books, so especially like this, or good resources like Winifred Aldrich or Helen Joseph Armstrong for pattern making, is that they are pricey books. I bought my Helen Joseph Armstrong book. This is an old edition, back many, many years ago. And, I still have it, right? So it is an investment. But if somebody is wanting to support your craft and your skills, that's a great thing. You know what? I know that some of my family members and friends, they'll create like a wish list on Amazon or,
oh yes, that's a good
and
idea.
so you can add books to your wish list, and you could just send them like, these are things that I've been wanting but haven't been able to buy myself. That's a great way to.
What I always say, like for yourself, you can be quite specific. Like actually, I got the Vionette book for my birthday because I think that's £100, so that's really expensive, but it's a really good one. And I think if somebody asks you and they're not quite sure, don't just say, "Oh yeah, can I have a book about fashion or pattern making?"
Right.
Because some which are better than others. So you would be quite specific. And again, if you're choosing gifts for others or presents, as we say here in England, actually sort of look which have lots of good images. So it's always sort of like actually choose somebody
Diagrams.
who are interesting diagram images. Or for example, I did a review recently on Jane Austen's wardrobe, which is like if you're people who are like into fashion history, they're really interesting books where you can learn. So it might not just be pattern cutting, it might be sort of a whole thing around which improves your pattern cutting skill. And that's I've actually gave it back to a library, but Hilary Davidson, she's got lots of books about Regency dressmaking, but they're always really good pictures, and it's stuff like that to consider.
Yeah.
Amazon is sometimes a bit hard.
It
to
is
find out.
sometimes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Even though they started as a book retailer.
Yeah, which
But-
is weird, but they never have like the inside pictures.
And
but
like
think
these
about
are
it.
always fun, like the
They're
pattern
great.
magic books. I got these as a gift one year, which is
So they
fabulous.
would be for more advanced people.
Yes, not beginner.
I was gonna say if you have people who are interested like in vintage sort of pattern cutting, get them some vintage pattern cutting catalogs, vintage like the Lutolo system, Mrs. Depew, she has lots of sort of vintage things you can
Yes.
draft and stuff, or even vintage fashion magazines. They're really expensive, but they're really inspirational
Yeah.
for if you're into that, into vintage pattern cutting for ideas, like vintage Vogues, Harper's Bazaar, vintage sewing pattern magazines. They've got so much
Yes,
often.
so where you can see images like that for sure.
Yeah, and again, it makes it really special.
And then there are some tools being listed.
Yes.
Let's see, there was
Anybody else want an iron for Christmas?
yes, actually, Sandra's saying I'm getting a garment steamer for my birthday from my in-laws. That's nice.
Very nice.
And then Jules says she wants a pattern master ruler for Charlotta's class, which I actually was gifted this by one of my students that I
Right.
met last year. So that's
let's
that's
talk
one.
about practical stuff, and then I also want to talk maybe consumables as well, because that's sort of more stocking.
Yeah. And
ruler wise, this one, that's because that's sort of in the UK, it's about £15. So
yeah.
that's really worth getting, but it's so practical. If you have anything and anybody is interested in drawing, they're really good rulers. Or the pattern master. But
Yeah.
again, it's like you can be really specific, or
So
what's
is
good
this
in.
one similar? Yours is
Yeah.
metric, obviously, but it's got more stuff on it, it looks like.
Yeah, mine has got more measurements, hasn't it?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
1 inch, half,
Yeah,
quarter,
but
eighth, and 16th.
actually, might need it because I always get confused by 6/8 and 2/8 and stuff like that.
You and everyone else, Charlotte. I was just talking about that. I was like, it would make it so much easier if we were all on the same system, but
Yes.
I want more
Um,
metric stuff because, I wish I knew more about it. But yeah, having those practical things. And then Tina's saying that she wants a new professional 5 foot cutting mat. And I will
oh yes,
say,
I was gonna say that.
yeah, a good cutting mat. And I have recently just been in love with my So Tights cutting mat. I can't really show it, but it comes with, it's a magnet. Let me see, can I? So it's got these are magnets that will hold your stuff. I've been loving it for pattern cutting. And it also comes with, oh, sorry, a big ruler, that's also magnetic. So you can hold things down and use it with a rotary. And this is a self-healing mat. They are an investment. And you can do it with a bit of metal under your cutting mat and some strong magnets. But the thing I like about these is they are specifically made for people who sew. So the things and accessories that go along with it. And it's really good quality. It's a great company. And if you are interested or want to tell somebody who's interested in getting this for you, if they use my code CCA10, because I am an affiliate for them, they can get 10% off. And then it helps me as well.
But I was gonna say that's a really nice, a cutting mat, good rotary cutter.
Yeah.
That's a really good thing. Especially if you're somebody, it's not just pattern cutting. Anybody who's sort of quilting, bag making, they're just really good things to have. And again, I think if they're quite new to it, they might not yet thought about different alternatives. And even scissors, nice pair of scissors, and you can get some. I think especially I've got mine are utilitarian, but you can sort of get a really nice pair. I got a really nice pair of ginger. Is it ginger? Ginger?
Ginger.
So you pronounce it ginger?
I was gonna say it's a German. It's a German company, Charlotta.
Okay. Ginga. I think it's Americanized Germans.
Well, it was Ginger. I heard they've sold to Fisker actually.
Oh, so now it's not okay because when I bought mine, it was still independent. But if you're in England or in Britain, there are some still made in Sheffield. And I got my husband a pair of, and they do it in matte black, so they look really stylish, and they cut beautifully. I will.
I have some LDH scissors and rotary on their way to me right now, actually. So I'll be excited to test those out and tell you guys about those.
And even if you maybe have somebody as well, if you know people better, you can work out if they have quite weak wrists, you might want to give them really lightweight scissors, and that's quite hard to find in shops. Or even
left-handed as well.
Yes, left-handed. Or even electric scissors, isn't it?
Yes, those were quite the rage for a while there. I haven't tried them yet. I bought myself an electric rotary, and I'm too scared to use it. I'm like, but it is good. You know what I want?
I think good for straights, maybe to practice, isn't it? To begin
That's the thing, and I was practicing, and the reason I got it was because I was cutting 150 Blue Man costumes in one season, and I'm like, there has to be a faster way of cutting. But then it was just really hard. There's the learning curve with those things about getting exact, right? I had to make sure it was exact, so that's why.
Yeah, and you have to practice that enough. But if you use a normal rotary cutter for the first time, especially if you use armholes,
right? That's the thing, the curves and I think straight lines is not a problem, but when you get into curves,
it's just inside curves.
I'll tell you one thing that I want that I have not yet bought myself. That I, if anyone's listening who knows people who buy me presents, you know what I've always wanted is a punch hole. I know that Kate sells them in her little kits, or she sells them.
Yeah, for making the the bus start points and stuff.
Yes, yes. So I always use an awl, and that's what I was, taught to use. So that's what I teach, and that's what I, have in my kits and use. But there's always that paper that's still there, right? And I like to have a clean punch. And it's funny, maybe because I keep talking about it, but I just got advertised an advert on Instagram about it is a leather punch, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it's not, and I think that's the one how Kate's is like it you push down on it, you don't have to like hammer it.
We used to at work. It's really satisfying because it makes
right. It's not something I need, but it's something I've been like, I want one of those so bad.
Myself again, that would be a perfect present because I'm always been like too tight to buy it for myself.
That's what I'm saying.
This works perfectly fine.
Right? I'm like, I got something that works, but it still would be cool to have. It's that's what's nice about gifts is when you give somebody that's something nice to have. It's not a necessary thing.
Notcher as well.
Yes.
Again,
notchers.
Kate sells them. They're really satisfying.
Those I do include in my really kits because I really like them as well.
Yeah, again, they're really satisfying. And actually a really nice quality tracing wheels because quite often the ones you buy in shops are the ones for tracing through carbon paper. Mm-hmm. So they haven't got mine are really pointy, can you see?
Yep. Well, and that's because that's a needle wheel as opposed to a tracing wheel because the tracing wheels are blunted.
We call these tracing wheel over here. Do you call it tracing wheel once where it's basically a disc with cutout bits?
So we call, and there is a debate because this would be a tracing wheel.
Yeah. We call both it the same.
So it depends where you go, but this is also used in leatherworking.
Yeah, but it makes sense. But it's a needle because it has basically soup, and mine is 20 years old, and it's still really. Really
powerful. I've had the same one. It's got fabric threads tied around it, which actually is nice because now it makes it really tight. Sometimes they get kind of wobbly, but this is a tracing wheel, and you will still see it labeled as a needle tracing wheel or a pattern tracing wheel or a leather tracing wheel, but I call it a Ponce wheel. Or a needle wheel is what I call this.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit of a debate. But this and that ruler, those are like, if I had to pick two, these would be the two tools like that I want more than anything else.
And I think it makes all the difference. So if you go into like a craft shop and they just have what normal tracing wheel, it's basically pointless. It doesn't work. I think it works but it doesn't make enough marks. But this you can clone clothes, everything. It's really good fun.
Yeah, and that's why I sell these in my kits because they're harder to get. You can't get them everywhere.
I was thinking as well, for people who might be quite new, like one of the things people always struggle with is like hem depth and
a hem Kate. That's a great.
Have you got a gauge? You got all the images today, Trisha?
I do somewhere. And another great making gift. One of my students, Linda Eilerson, made this beautiful little bag. This is a pattern that you can get somewhere, and she saw me. Because like you said, like I have stuff that works. I would like carry all my tools in like Tupperwares, and she's like, no, you have to have this. And I've been using it ever since. But yeah, Dritz, you have this little like hem gauge, and it's great because it's metal. So, got the different measurements on either side. So you can press over it,
Yes. And there's different ones. I've seen different looking ones. But yeah, they're just really stuff like it's really practical for beginners. And I think because if you sort of think about how you were when you were starting, like there's so much stuff, and
this is my favorite marking tool that everybody always loves.
Yes.
And friction pens. Friction pens are great for anyone because friction pens are those pens that you can erase. I use these in my calendar or my to-dos, and then you can erase it, and you can I can color code my calendar and erase it. So friction pens are not always just used for sewing. In fact, I don't really use them for sewing. I use them for everything else.
Be a bit careful. Some of them, they come back if it gets really cold.
All of them will.
Duvet.
which is
Okay,
why
that's
I
not
don't
just,
like to
yeah.
use them for sewing.
No. Yes, the
But
Jones.
they're
Yeah.
great for writing on paper and things.
Yes. Yeah.
Monica was asking, where do you get the hole punch for sloper? Oh, the rabbit punch. Do I have it? I think mine's downstairs. The
Is it the
rabbit,
one for making the big holes?
the big holes for slopers, for like if you have, and pattern hooks. I had somebody ask me about pattern
Oh,
hooks
yeah.
the other day. So these holes, these are pattern hooks. So I believe Wowak has the rabbit punch is what it's called. It's called a rabbit punch, Monica. And those are, I believe Wowak has one. They often come into, like, I've had a plastic one which wasn't, it's not as heavy, but it's not also as nice. And you want that, like the all metal ones are really nice, but they are pricey. So that would be a great thing to ask for a gift.
And it's quite a specific gift, isn't it?
Right, very specific. And I know that there's some stores downtown LA that I have listed on my resource list. Yeah, and Tina was saying a gift certificate to like a Wawak or place where you can get where you can get tools like this would be great, so that they can pick their own tools, like things that they would need would be a great idea too.
Yeah. In the UK, there's a fantastic, because like I always love the Japanese tools. Like, especially for somebody who is like the Pattern Magic book.
Yeah.
It's called 8 Needles. And I've got mine, that's the trace chalk wheel from there. But they sell all the different rulers, all
8
the
needles.
the scissors.
Huh.
It's called 8 Needles. I think they're most on
That's
Instagram,
cool.
but they do just like, all the really beautiful stuff, and it's beautifully packaged. So
Of
if you have
course.
somebody who likes things which look aesthetically
Yeah.
beautiful.
They do such
That's
great
really
things
nice.
with packaging in Japan.
Yes, no, you can't beat them. We used to have, I worked for a mostly Japanese company, and when they come over, like, they always like, even a box of like crackers, and it's just
I know. I was gonna say, even like their like the bento box. It's so
Yes,
it's so
yeah.
beautifully packaged.
I think, yeah. And it's sort of wrapped in different paper, and they're really nice. I still have the lacquered boxes. They're just so beautiful.
I have a gift. My friend, she went to Japan and she brought me back like a packet of teas, like different teas, and it's so beautiful. I haven't ever opened it. I love tea. I drink it all the time. I have it in my tea cupboard, but I'm like, it's so pretty. I don't want to mess it up and use it.
But I think it's actually whatever you gift, it could be something really practical. If you gift it beautifully and maybe use some fabric and sort of really say what you're thinking about it, what it's used for and stuff, that always makes it really special, I think.
Yeah.
And the last thing I was going to talk about, maybe also consumable.
Right.
Because they could be like stocking fillers or little because we've talked about some quite expensive presents. You might give somebody really well, but there might be lots of friends, from your sewing club or, sort of from your hobbies, and then it might be consumables and stuff like that. And I would always recommend, because it's probably what we need every time, is to get them some Gutermann thread. Do you use Gutermann?
Oh yes, we love Gutermann thread.
And they're quite expensive, isn't it?
They are pricey.
More. So they do little boxes, for example, mixed boxes, more expensive. Or if if you get to know people, their colors and stuff, so you can get them a few of them and stuff, or just get them a few rolls of the white and black, and they will appreciate it.
And going back to the making, just because I thought you reminded me, somebody gave me this for Christmas, and it's like, it's just serged or overlocked pieces, but it has like a little needle threader in it, and it's, to keep your needles.
Yeah.
This is another really quick, easy project.
Yeah.
And then she gave it to us with all these little things, and then just put it.
Yeah.
So I keep it in my sewing kit.
Yeah. But that's like a really nice, if somebody, like in your friendship group, that's a really nice little gift. Put in your suitcase and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Tina
said she got the dart hole punch from her great grandmother's sewing room.
Oh, that's
Aren't
nice.
you lucky, Tina? Yeah, I've been eyeballing those for probably like 5 years since Kate first advertised her kit, and I'm like, I want one of those.
I mean, everybody what to get Trisha now.
I know. I just really have. I've been like wanting one of those forever. You know what else is great? If you know somebody who is a big rotary person, like I don't have a lot of shears or sewing things. But another fun gift, I just pulled this out. It came out with my little thing, is a bodkin. Mine is well loved and a little bent, but a bodkin, it's got like the big eye on the back end of it. It's for like threading elastics and for threading ribbons through things, and it's a blended. Oh, There's this other cool tool that one of my students gave me. This is like a point turner thing, where it's got the ball on the end
Yes.
for turning points and things. Like little tools like this are really, great. And it's got a smaller one on the other end for turning. But they're really nice things to have. And I mean, people have, or my mom one time got me like a really nice seam ripper, which is somewhere in
Oh,
there too.
yes. But I think that's the whole thing, because Tatiana in my chat was just saying, as somebody who buys a lot of little things to try out, I should have bought the Pattern Master Japanese ruler straight away. And I think that's what we sort of, if you know people, because I've done the same. I've got like all curve rulers I've
Right.
never used and stuff. And it's sort of like you can actually, that's sort of really appreciate it. If you have friends who are interested in the same thing, get them the really good seam ripper, get them the really
Right.
good
Right.
ruler.
Yeah, the one that my mom got me is like it's all, crafted and it's really pretty and it's on a chain. And actually, I carry it with me for when people ask me if I have a seam ripper. I'm like, I do. I have this really beautiful seam ripper that my mom gave me. Another thing is if you're somebody who use a rotary a lot, even for garment making, I love this pinking rotary wheel, which they're not inexpensive, right? But that way I can use that for like um, pinking edges, and I love it for even for mock-ups and things, but specifically for like things that fray a lot, like loose woven wools and things,
Silks.
silks and yeah, stuff like that you don't want to fray out on you. This is great like when you're cutting it out, and they're not as, not that blades themselves are that inexpensive either, but these are a little bit more. But they're great. They're really great to have. So if it's somebody who likes like the rotary, that's another great tool to have.
Yeah, and I think it's stuff like that. It's sort of, it's purely practical, but it will be really appreciated by the person, because as we said, like Trisha still hasn't bought a hole puncher.
Right.
It's like, that's the thing we never buy for ourselves. Or we
Right.
buy for jobs and not for yourselves.
Right. Or yeah, the scalpel for seams. Yeah, I like that too. I use the scalpel. I usually use my snips around my neck.
Yeah.
And they go
I've
dull. But
I've seen recently, and I thought, oh, that's a really good idea. You get the scissors which have a really round edge on one side, and they sell them as applique scissors, but they're fantastic for doing rolled hems. So that would be because
right, for clipping, for doing
yeah,
yes.
so you can cut really close to your stitch line if you're doing traditionally rolled hem, not with the rolled foot.
Right.
Be really good. And actually, sewing machine, get somebody some boxes of really good quality needles and pins.
Yes. Pins.
And
I was gonna say
pin.
they have some nice pins that you can get, and
yeah, and make them a little pin cushion so it's personal, but then put in really good
nice pins.
quality
Yeah.
pins.
Yeah, that would be a great
Yes.
gift too.
Yeah.
Somebody's saying, so look in vintage shops. Yeah. Oh, for the dart hole punch is what Tina's saying. Okay. W Design says a wood turned seam ripper I picked up at the show. Also those pressing tools, the tailor pressing ham and sleeve press. Yeah, thing. Yes. Great pressing tools is great. And I know, what is his name? That made they have beautifully made like clappers and stuff.
Oh, I've seen it, like made of proper like hardwood,
like good nice hardwoods with pretty designs. Like that would be a beautiful gift. Plus you're also supporting other makers, when you get stuff like that. Monica's saying, have either of you ever used the seam allowance rulers? I have a friend who just ordered the 5/8 inch one, and she said they come in 1/2 inch and 3/8 size. So what is it? The seam allowance rulers? I don't know. Is that different from like the pattern master ruler, you think?
Or like
it's got to be. She's saying the 5/8 and then they have 3/8 and
sounds like
what would also be great. You have to know what kind of machine.
Oh, it might be a really really skinny one. So you literally just lay it on.
I haven't used one of those, Monica, but
Oh, or is it the ones where you have different gauges?
I think
and you can gauge it in and out?
No, she's saying that her friend just ordered the 5/8 inch, so it's just 5/8, but she's saying that there's also a 1/2 inch and a 3/8 size.
I would class this as those thing where you It's optional, it's probably really useful, but
You know what? One tool that
we both have like the
right,
multi-purpose ones, isn't it?
specialized feet for your
Yeah. Oh
machines.
yeah, that's really good.
That's a really great thing to
Yeah, I
add.
think
Like
like people love the walking feet,
walking
isn't it? So
foot
that would have been a
on
really nice
my
message.
industrial machines. Like I love a top stitching foot, and they have like a double top stitching foot. Those are nice. Gather ruffle feet. I know Bernina
And
has
actually,
nice feet too.
if people are into like the vintage machines, the vintage sewing,
Hmm.
again, you get so many really interesting different feet. Oh, and um I think it might be Caroline, to Caroline, is saying, she's saying I think it's to Caroline, my seam allowance rulers are heat resistant. So that's really good. So she can
For like turning up
fine
hems and things.
press. So
Yeah,
that might be it. So that'd
pressing.
be, yeah, because these will melt.
Yes, they will. But I'll tell you, one thing that I use for industrial machine users, which I don't know how many we have on here, but and anybody who has an all metal machine, I love they're a rectangle and they got a little knob and they're a magnet, like a really strong magnet. I use that instead of having the lines on my foot plate, so I just
Oh
measure
yeah,
from
yeah.
my needle, and that gives me an edge to mark my. I use that thing all the time. So that's a really nice. I don't think they're super expensive, but again, that's an industrial sewing machine tool that I've fallen in love with in the last few years, and use it all the time to set my seam allowances at the machine. Tina says
Yeah, I
that
think
there's also Bra Builders has an Advent Notions box.
yeah.
That's a really wonderful
Yeah.
idea for a gift. Yeah.
Yeah, just yeah, I would always want. I think I've heard some are really good. So if it's
Yeah.
a
You want
company
to
you like,
know.
choose those, because I've heard some which are great and some which are really fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And speaking
and I
of
think,
projects, that I know that Bra Builders also has like a muslin bra kit. If somebody's been expressed interest in trying to learn to sew lingerie and bras, that would be a great, like we were talking about earlier with the kits and whatnot. Well,
and somebody is saying a curve runner. Oh yes, I've heard of them. Have you got one, Trisha?
curve runner.
It's like a circular ruler, and you just run it across the seams, and you can measure it as you. I think
Oh, yes.
Stern has got
No,
some
but
about.
those are so cool. I've seen
Yeah.
those. Yeah, I have. I don't have, or the double tracing, not
Oh
tracing,
yes, yeah.
but the double wheel. Yeah, those are cool. I mean, quilters have tons of cool gadgets and things that,
Yeah.
I always think it's so cool. But like I said, I got this. It works fine.
Yeah.
But
I
that's
think
why
also
it's
that's
nice
why
to
I make
give.
great presents, because the thing for
Right.
us, we always quite
Like
like.
I would have never bought this for myself, but now that I have it, I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, look at my cool
Yes.
thing I can use. That's why it's great to give them as gifts, I think, too.
Yes, I agree. Oh, I actually, and you're talking about magnetic seam allowance gauges,
Mhm.
or with also like a magnetic pin holder, and you
Yeah.
can also get them for your sewing machine, isn't it? Where you actually put
Yeah.
it on it, and yeah,
And
anything.
and going back to sew tights, if you didn't want to, because the cutting mats are a little pricey, but they also have like hand pins, so that you can, like, little hand mix. Like, this is a magnet that you can use, as they're like magnetic pins when you're sewing, and they're a little bit less expensive, and they would make nice gifts. And then they also have, I don't have one because I gave them away at Quilt Fest, but they have a needle minder. So it's a magnetic thing you put on
Oh,
your shirt, so you can put your snips or you can put your needle while you're working. But you do have to be careful. You can't have a pacemaker. Don't get
Yes, I was
magnets
going to
in
say
your
you could
pacemaker.
make those yourself as well, isn't it? If you like sort of that, you could play around and make a brooch like that.
And
couldn't you?
I
I
like
think it's great.
this, my little, thing. I had one years ago when I was in college that was super strong. Now I bought this, I don't remember where I bought it now, but it's not super strong. And I miss my old one. So if you found a good one of those, but yeah, I'm a fan of the magnets. Although I do have a professor that was like vehemently no magnets near the sewing machine. So
Well, and also it magnetizes all your scissors, doesn't it?
it does, and your
Proper one,
pins
yeah.
and everything too. Everything,
Yeah.
like, you gotta be careful. But I still think it's super handy. Well, we could go on for days, and as
we have
usual,
already
the
got.
hour has flown by. We've loved chatting with you guys, and thank you for your suggestions and kind of sharing with us your ideas. Hopefully, we gave you some ideas. Like we said, have we planned for? I think we had planned for the
I
week
think we're not
before.
doing next month because it's
No, we
Thanksgiving.
were gonna do a little earlier because of Thanksgiving for next year, but I think it was the third week. And of course, I don't have my calendar in front of me,
I've
but
got mine.
but
Oh yes, we did. 20th of November.
right. So
Yes, and that will be. Oh, we might do one in December. We're not quite sure.
yeah, we're not. December's always tricky because of the holidays going on.
Maybe do a party or something.
Yeah, yeah, we'll do a party or something. But
Maybe over Instagram. It might be quite good fun.
yeah, for sure. We can invite people out. We've done that before.
Yes,
Thank
that's
you
always
guys for
nice.
joining us. And as always, we love hearing from you and love hanging out with you. And we do this, we tried to do this once a month. Most of the time, we took last month off because both of us were just so insanely busy. But yeah, we do have some plans for next month. And if there's ever anything like a topic or something that you think would be great, I think this was actually a suggestion from Natalie, right? Natalie Chim.
Yes, because I was talking about the Regency fashion books, and she said, "Oh, I bought it for my birthday already."
Ah, yes, yes, yes. So, yeah, if you ever have an idea of what you'd like us to chat about or what you would like to see more conversation around, just please let us up because we're always like, what should we talk about? What would people be? And then we're always like, are we going to be able to have a long enough conversation? And then the hour flies by and we could still keep talking, but never been a
Yes,
problem.
no, it's always fantastic. Yeah, and I think sometimes when we pick out topics, it might go a little bit too niche. So it's always interesting to find your niche rather than just ours as well.
Yeah.
But no, I never had an hour which hasn't been interested. So
Yeah,
that's
it's true.
awesome, because I think we've been doing this now for 3, 4 years, Trisha.
Yeah, probably.
Long,
It's been at
maybe
least two.
since COVID, isn't it even? So yeah.
Long time.
Yes.
We still learn things from each other.
Yes, no, which is lovely.
And from you guys. We love hearing from you guys. That's what makes it really fun. All
And
right.
just if you want to join PatternCon, do make sure Black Friday you check out Trisha.
Yeah.
And do check out my Black Friday sale as well.
Yeah. Do you have a wait list or something? Maybe I could get it
Yeah,
from
I
you.
think if you're on my site, it's in the description, and everything I always do is on patterncuttingschool.com or my Instagram as well.
And to find out more about PatternCon, visit patterncon.com. And I'll put that link in the description as well. And we'll talk more about it. We'll be back before that. So join us again next month where we can chat. But thanks you guys, everybody. We'll see you next